5 ridiculous but real CIA plots against Castro. Number 5. Castro could be seen with a cigar in his hands in nearly all his photographs in the public domain. It's not because the photographers asked him to do that. He had a genuine love for Cuban cigars. In fact, some of his closest aides claimed that it was difficult to find him without one no matter when you met him. The CIA knew about this, which is why many of their plots against him revolved around cigars. Most of the plans never left the drawing board except one. The chief of the Office of Medical Services for the CIA, Dr. Edward Gunn, really wanted to use a toxin known as botulinum to kill Castro, as it didn't leave any traces. When Gunn realized that the toxin didn't easily dissolve in water and couldn't be slipped into Castro's drinks, Gunn personally spiked a box of Castro's favorite cigars with botulinum. Gunn spent hours rewrapping all of them, making sure that there was no sign of tampering. Too bad for him that the cigars never made it to Castro, though Gunn did keep one in his safe for later experiments. Number 4. Even if all the ridiculous plots on this list had been carefully thought out and planned, none of them came close to harming Castro in any way. Well, except one of them, which was the closest the CIA would ever come to actually killing the Cuban dictator. The plan involved conspiring with U.S. mobsters who controlled gambling settlements in Cuba. They were supposed to spike Castro's milkshake with a powerful poison, which would instantly kill him without leaving any trail of evidence. They almost succeeded at it, too, as the poison made it to the freezer of the hotel where Castro was staying at the time. Unfortunately for them, the pill got stuck to the freezer walls and tore open when they were trying to retrieve it for the final part of the plan. Number 3. Podium. You'd think that the CIA tried a few things, gave it their best shot each time, and eventually stopped plotting against Castro after a few failed attempts. In reality, they never really gave up and tried to assassinate him until as late as 2000, as far as we know. That year, the plot was centered around Castro's scheduled speech in Panama, owing to his lack of turf advantage there. It was the perfect scheme, as no one would suspect the U.S. government because it was foreign territory. Meanwhile, it would rid them of one of their oldest enemies. For the job, the CIA employed a Cuban terrorist, and, unsurprisingly, ex-CIA agent, Luis Posada Carrols. They tasked him with rigging with explosives the podium on which Castro was scheduled to speak. Although Carrols did it, he severely underestimated the competence of Cuban security officials. They easily found the explosives during one of their security checks before the event and foiled yet another CIA attempt to kill Castro. Number 2. Ben. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy was a transformational moment in U.S. history. Apart from the death of one of the best-loved presidents ever, it also fundamentally changed U.S. politics like many other previous events. Right around the time it was happening, another important event was unfolding in a different part of the world. A CIA operative had flown to Paris to meet with Cuban official Rolando Cuba, who insisted that he had the perfect plan to kill Castro. Neither JFK nor the CIA's director at the time knew about the plot, which involved stabbing Castro with a pen rigged with a hypodermic syringe. The plan was in its final stages of execution at the time. However, due to the tense political environment in the country in the wake of JFK's assassination, they could not go through with it. Number 1. Fake the Second Coming of Christ. Clearly, the CIA had used up its imagination on trying to kill Castro. As we all know, none of their schemes were successful as Castro died of natural causes at age 90. One agency plot, however, was more ridiculous than any of the rest. According to a CIA veteran's testimony to the Senate's Church Committee, which was set up to investigate intelligence abuses, the agency was involved in a particularly bizarre plot to fake the Second Coming of Christ in Cuba. The idea was that the Cubans were deeply religious people and would revolt if there was a divine sign against Castro's rule. The CIA even planned on shooting star shells from a submarine to divinely light up the sky because just telling people that Christ was back would be a bit silly. although the guy responsible for it vehemently denied the existence of any such plan. Documents from that time prove otherwise. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe our channel.